Okay, so in this video I want to talk about the program output. I might be able to cover all this in one video. We'll see how long it goes. But basically I am listing all of the items for sale with a nice column header. Look, they're all lined up very nicely in columns. I'm using setw to do that. And then I'm getting the average price of all items, and then the most affordable or the cheapest item, and the most expensive item as well. So I actually have just one loop, a for loop, to accomplish all of this. And so I'll walk you through that loop and all the different components, techniques that we're doing here. So talking about this, the output first, like the data output and how it's lined up nicely. I'm using setw to do that. And very importantly, you need IO manip up at the top. You know, before I print the all the prices, see, this is where the column headers begin. Okay, and then I create my variables for all the stuff I'm doing inside of the loop, and then the loop itself. But before I do any of that, I do have this, the set precision, fixed, show point, set precision. This is so I can display the prices like money, okay, with two decimal places. Now the real exam does not deal with money, at least at the time of this video recording. So you shouldn't have to use that, but I mean it wouldn't hurt anything if you included that line and you know you didn't need it. Okay, so we have our column headers here. So just to kind of pick apart the output here visually, the all the items are printed in a field of 55 characters. So say about a field about this wide, 55 characters, and they are left aligned in that field. So do you see how Art Nouveau jewel box is in a field width of about 55 characters, so that gray part, give or take, and it's left aligned in that field. All of these items are printed like that. So I can use setw with a value of 55 to get that wide field, left align them, and then everything lines up nicely in columns when I go ahead and print the prices. And even the column headers, the column header, even though this is just a short little word, it's still in a field of 55 characters. Okay, that's why price is pushed over so far, because this whole swath here is off limits. That belongs to the first field, the 55 character field. Okay, so let's look at and the prices are, I believe, I put them in a character or a field 10 characters wide. So that's about 10 characters. I right aligned the prices, and that's typical to left align strings and right align prices or numbers. Excel, like Microsoft Excel, is like that. You put text in a cell and it's going to be left aligned by default. You put a number in the cell, it's going to be right aligned by default. That's typical. Okay, so here we go. So here we have the column header. We have a setw55. That'll give us our print field width of 55 characters. I'm left aligning, and then I'm putting the word item. Okay, so that takes care of the first part. This part here. Okay, now we're gearing up for the price part. So let's look at that. So I set W10, I right align, and then I put price in US dollars. The line underneath it, that I just, pressed on the dash key, held down the dash key, and just made a long line there. That's not a big deal. Okay, so there are the column headers. And I think let me just dive right. I'll skip this for now, this part. It's not pertinent to this discussion, but let me just dive right into the loop here. This is the loop that's really like doing all the heavy lifting in this program, but this is the line where I'm printing the data from the vectors, okay? Pulling it right out of the vectors. And again, you'll see the same proportions with the setw. So, we're looping through and printing all this data straight from the vectors. And this is the line that does it. So again, we have setw 55, left aligned. I'm reaching into that items vector. Remember, we use the at function with the index. Loop counter as vector index. That little I is the loop counter, okay? Loop counter as vector index. And so that'll get the name of the item in place, and then we dive into the price. setw10, right align, reaching into the prices vector, and then again, using the add function, loop counter as vector index in this case. Look at the way I've set up my loop. Okay, so my loop counter is I. I must start counting at 0 because the vectors start counting at 0. I'm going while I is less than items.size. I could have also said prices.size because the vectors are parallel. They both have the same number of items. I just want, and you know what, don't hard code a 10 here. Okay, they start with, don't do this. Okay, they each start, the vectors each start with 10 items, but remember, we're allowing the user to enter more if they want. So we don't know how many items we're going to have in these vectors when this loop runs. Maybe the user is on a tear and they enter 20 items. I have 30 items in the vector. We don't know. Or maybe they don't enter any and we just have the 10 items. So we can't hard code anything here. It's got to be sized to the vectors, whatever they happen to be. Okay, and don't forget your increment. So that will take care of this part. Okay, this whole part here. I think I'm going to end this video and then I will talk about the remaining techniques, which is, of course, finding the average and then the least expensive and the most expensive.